This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So we'll take a look at some stocks here. First of all, take a look here at Airbnb, at DoorDash, DASH, CrowdStrike, CRWD, MRVL, and Snowflake. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell a stock, not ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Airbnb. Okay, let's just see what we got going here. Okay, all righty. Take it down. Okay, now you can see here what we have is we have this like a downtrending situation, okay? So what we really need to do, what this stock, I should say, needs to do, is we have to get back above this key 21-day. You can see how it's right now is pinned between the 8-day and the 21-day. If we can get above that 21 SMA here, okay, at that 119.33 level, then we come up to that 50-day. Your next upside target is going to be that 121.87 level. Okay, we get above that, your next target is going to be 125.56. That is your 100-day, and then we have your 200-day at 127.80.81, and then we have this nice big retest all the way up here at 130.05. Okay, now, if we can clear all that, big if, okay, then we do is we can just bring these price channels right across, and then your next target is going to be right there, 131.11. Okay, just bring this price channel here right across. What do we got? You got 136.53, and then we can work yourself all the way back up here onto this 143.43, and then maybe all the way up to this high here, 143.88 level. Okay, but again, you have a lot of resistance. You got the 21-day, the 50-day, 100-day, 200-day in order to do all that. Now you can see here how we got to an overbought conditions. Okay, I mean oversold, I should say. Sorry about that. Oversold condition, pretty much like what we had here. Okay, see how we had this nice good rally up right there. But now look at where we are. We're sitting here at that 48 level. This green is about ready to go over the red. The key is getting above that 21-day, and then we can start hitting that next layer, that 50-day, the 100-day, 200-day, and possible retest. Now on the downside, you can see how this 8-day crossed over that 21-day, but now it looks like it wants to curl up. That's going to be very key on a closing basis, 115.73. You lose that one, come right to the bottom of this candle right there. You're looking at 114.47. We come down here to 111.84, and then we have your retest down here at 110.81 level. Okay, now if we start losing that whole area, sorry about that. Okay, if we start losing that 110.81 level down here, then what we're going to do is we'll come right down and just visit this area right here. You're looking at 109.79. We'll bring this price channel right across here. You're looking at 105 level, and then we have the big retest going in all the way down here at that 99.88 level. But right now, when you look at the overall chart, it doesn't look really, actually pretty good. We just had this sideways consolidation. Now, see, just like we had the solid consolidation here in the past, then all of a sudden you can see where the earnings came in. You can see where it popped right on up here nicely. This earnings here popped right up there very nicely. This earnings popped right up here. And then this earnings here, we kind of have like a little bit of a downtrend. So again, if you're trading this, just watch that 21-day. If we can get back above that and get that 8-day to curl up back, above that 21-day, then we can start hitting all those targets and maybe even retest that key level up there at that 129 level. Downside, just watch this 110.81 level. That's going to be very, very key because right now we have a low, we have a lower low, and we have a lower low. And that kind of, we start losing that area there, we can come all the way down here to this bad boy down here at that 99 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at DoorDash. All right, here we have DoorDash. Now you can see the nice good uptrending, all from 49 all the way to 285. Not too bad. Okay, now these are a really hot stock when you had the COVID whole situation, kind of that. I've never used DoorDash. Be honest with you, my wife's an excellent cook, actually borderline chef. How she cooks, so I don't really need it. Just tell her what you want, she'll make it for you. Anything you want, But again, this is what we got here. This is the earnings that came in. You can see where it dropped right on off. Now let's look at some of the past earnings. You can see where it just rallied up here nicely. This earnings here, it topped out here, but then it rallied up nicely. But this earnings here came right on down. Maybe just falling right on down. Because again, I guess with DoorDash here, when you put the order in, you're not only paying full price, but then you also there's a fee on top of that, and then you got a tip on top of that. So that one meal becomes very, very expensive for most people. Okay, so let's look at the upside here first. Okay, so right now what we're doing is we're watching this right here, the 207.81. That's going to be key. If we can get back above that level, then I want to show you this gap. See where we have the top of that candle? You're looking at 216.50. There's your gap. Then we have this 223. 52, there's your 200-day, and then we want to look to the bottom of that candle at 234.79. There's your fill. Okay, so you have your 21-day. You bring that up a little bit here, maybe easier. Yeah, now you're talking. Okay, so Just watch that 21-day. You have to get back above that 207.81. If you can, then we're going to be looking here for the top of this candle right there at that 216. 216.50 level. That is your gap. And then we go to that 23.52. Then we have to see what the reaction is. But if we get above that, then we always want to go to that gap fill at that 234.79. Then above that, obviously, we have the 50-day, and then we have your 100 SMA here at the, what we got there, 246 level. Then we have a retest there of 260. And then we can just bring this price channel across, and when we get there, you got that 269. Then we have a big retest up there at 285. But right now here, we just gapped right on down, and now we have a sideways consolidation. So on the downside here, you're watching today's low. That's going to be key, 255. But the key level here is going to be this 8-day 195. The key is going to be that 195 right here. It's going to be that 8-day simple moving average. Okay, you really have to hold that on a closing basis. Now you can see here how this 8-day is still on the downslide, same way with the 21-day, same way with the 50 SMA. Okay, it's not curling up. It tried to curl up, but then it just couldn't do it. Okay, so right there is going to be very, very key. 195.32. If you lose that, we'll come to the top there, 190.48. We'll come to the bottom there, 187.22. Then we have your big retest down here at 182 level. Okay. Now, again, if we start loosening all that area, then all we have to do is just bring this price channel right across here. Your next target is going to be 175.50. We'll bring that price channel right across. So you got 168.95. We'll bring this bad boy right across here. We have a 163, and then we have your big retest down here at that 155 level. Now, I'm not saying that's where it's going to go. I'm just saying if you start losing this price channel, this is your target area is going to be right in that situation right there. Okay. So right now, what you're really looking at is that 21-day. You have to get and close back above that. Then we go to the 200-day, and then we have to see what the reaction is once we get there. Now, when you look at this RSI, see how we got this here to basically an oversold condition. However, okay, now that being said, we do have positive divergence here. Now I'll show you why. See, we have this low, okay? We have this low. We have an even lower low, but we have a higher low here. See that positive divergence, okay? See, and that was a good tell to take it up, at least up to that 21-day. Then we got to see if we can move towards that 200-day. Now, the green crossed over your red, kind of a situation that shows that momentum there to the upside. But again, that 21-day is going to be everything. Very, very strong resistance. Then we can blast up here to that, to the this top of this candle here. There's your gap, and then your 200-day, your fill, and then we have that fill level all the way up here at that bottom of that candle at that 234.79. Okay, but anything that give you a little bit of edge there, where you can see where you have that positive divergence kind of situation. That's why I like using the RSI. It's not just to measure, the relative strength of a stock or commodity or whatever. It also can give you that divergence to say, hey, I was down here at that 182 level. Now I'm over here at that 205 because I follow that positive divergence. Okay, next here in line here, what we're going to take a look at here, we're going to look at CrowdStrike. Okay, here we have CrowdStrike. Now the earnings are coming out here on December 2nd, which would be tomorrow. So we got to see how that's going to shake out here. Now, so if you look at the past earnings, okay, here's the past earnings. Okay, the rally sideways action, they rallied up here. Very nice. Came down, retested, put a double bottom, rallied up here. This here earnings kind of rallied right on up, and this earnings here rallied right up. So looks like the earnings here could, take this thing bad boy right on up here very, very nicely. Okay, so you have a good uptrending chart. Okay, so that's actually in play. We came right on down. We held that 100-day very, very nicely. See how nice that held that? Okay, then we rallied up here. We couldn't get through this 50-day, and now we're stuck here below this 8-day. So on the upside, what you're watching is that 505.65. We get above that, you got 511.79, and then we can come up here to that 526 level. There's your 21-day. We crack above that, we come up here, 539 level, okay, and then we always look to the left of the chart here. Then we have is 553, and then we'll come up here. We have 555, and then we can have that 566.90. That is your big retest situation. But this 8-day is going to be very, very strong, okay? That 50-day and the 21-day, very, very strong. Now, on the downside, we could actually look here to today's low, 495.01. But realistically, what you're looking for is that 477.55. So when you take that 100-day, look at that. You can see where right there how strong that support is, okay? So when you just look in the past here, so it's holding it very, very nicely. Now, if we lose the bottom of this candle, that's 477.55. What you really want to look at here next is we want to look down to the bottom of this candle right here, okay? See, there's your gap, okay? That's 462.12, and then we look to the top of that candle at 454. Your gap, your fill, and then we have this 200-day sitting right at 449.29. That'd be your downside action, your downside target. So say you're shorting this. Well, if you're shorting this and we lose that 477.55, then you want to look for this target right here at that 462. Now, if it starts getting in, starts going lower, then you want to look for the gap fill, because that's usually how that works, 454, and then we want to look for 449 situation. Upside, this 8 days, everything. You got to get back above that 8-day, above that 50 SMA here, and like up the 21-day. Now, with the earnings coming out here, it could very, very possibly, that could juice it right on up here, because I say, as we look at the past earnings, everything is a rise after those earnings come out. So this could nicely come all the way on up here and take out that 8-day and all the way up then the 50-day and the 21-day, and then we could retest that 466 level. Then we'd have to see what the reaction is once it gets there. Does it crack over there? Once it does, you'll work your way all the way to that 600 mark. Now, we're looking at here, okay? So what we have here, you can see there how this is actually a negative divergence. See how we have this high right here, okay? Then we have a lower high, but we have here a high and we have a higher high, okay? See that negative divergence? And then when that plays out, this is what you get. You get a drop in the stock. Okay, so always look at that RSI for any kind of a tail. So anything that'll give you like an edge. Okay, now the green display your red shows momentum to the downside. So we got to really basically see exactly how the earnings are going to come out before we can say I'm going to get in, I'm going to get out of this one. Okay, let's take a look here at Marvel. Okay, here we have that Marvel. Okay, now again we have a good uptrending situation. We're looking right here. Okay, so now remember their earnings are coming out tomorrow, also on December 2nd. Okay, so let's just look in the past on what the earnings would be. Okay, so here's one earnings came up, sideways action, then rallied up nicely. Here's earnings. You can see we just gapped right up, ran up nicely. This earnings here, we actually gapped down and then, fell right off here. Then this one, we rallied up. And then this one here, we gapped down and then we rallied up after the situation. Okay, so it's not really telling you a whole lot. It's not like it's all one way kind of a situation. Okay, so what we're really looking for, let me just big this up. Okay, so we have a nice, good uptrending chart here, and you can see where the price now is above all your simple moving averages. So let's look at the downside. Right there. Needs to hold at 87.04. That's key. It's your 21-day, and then we have 86.14. There's your 50-day, and then we have your 8-day at 83.87. Okay, if we lose that, then we have right here your 100-day, 79.39. Then we have 74.12. That is your 200-day, and then we have your big retest down here at that 73.62 level. Okay, so that's what we have there for. So just keep in mind that 73.62. That's what we're basically what we're looking for here, all the way on the downside. But you have to lose all these simple moving averages. Now you can see where the 8-day crossed over the 50-day. But now look how nice it's rallying up here, and look at the nice, good uptrending situation we have off this bottoming tail. Okay, very, very nice. So what we're really rallying up here, okay, so what we have up here is 91.37. Now, your next level is going to be right here. It's going to be at that 92.87, and we'll come up here. You got a 94.47 level, and then we're going to retest that 98.13 level all the way up here. Okay, now, if we kind of start cracking that open there, okay, we start cracking all the way up here, we get above that 98.13 level, then all we have to do is just look right to the left of the chart. Okay, so what do you got there? Okay, there's that 98.06, you have 98.13. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go to that next level up here. Okay, so what you have, you got 104.67. We'll bring this price channel across. You got 112 level. We'll bring this price channel right across. We have a 121 level. We'll look to the left of the chart here. What do we got here? We got 126. And then big retest there at 127 if she keeps on moving up. But what I like about this is we have an uptrending. See a low, then we have a higher low, and now we have a higher low. So we have a nice, good uptrending channel going on here, and the price is above all your simple moving average. But you have to maintain that 87 area. That's going to be very key. If not, then we come down here to the 86 level, 79 level, and then we come down here all the way down to that 74. Now, we look at your RSI. You only see that 57. This has plenty of room to run. There's no question about it. And looking here, the green just crossed over your red, shows like very, very good momentum. So this one actually looks like very, very good. What it is when it rallies up here, if it hits that 98.13, we have to see what the reaction is. Okay, is it like this where it comes all the way up here, then comes down, retest it, then we put that double top in there and it falls back off again? Or does it break through and close above? The key to this to going higher is you have to close above that 98.13. Once you do that, then everything you need to know, all your resistance, all your upside targets, is sitting right there. Okay, let's take a look here now at Snowflake. All right, here we have Snowflake. Now their earnings are coming out on December 3rd. Okay, so that's why I want to give you a little peek ski and see what we can do. Now again, we have a low, higher low, and a higher low situation. So this is looking very good. So let's look at some of the earnings. Okay, what do we have here? Gap up and go. Okay, this one here, kind of like a mixed side of a situation. Up here, we went gapped up and left. This one here, another big gapped up and go. So the odds are of this here of going up probably are pretty good. Okay, so again, you can see that nice uptrending chart. So what we're looking for here on the downside, first of all, you want to watch this guy. He wants to hold that 50-day at 248.90. Your next level of support there is going to be right there at 246.97 level. Then we can come down to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 237.93. Then we have your 100-day sitting right here. You're looking at 230.75, and then 228. That is going to be your big retest. Obviously, if we lose that, we could come all the way down here to this 200-day down at 204. Now, on the upside here, we're looking for, this would be Friday's high, 254 flat. And then we're going to be looking for this 21-day at 257.94. Now, we can crack above that, this key level here. Then we can shoot all the way up here from the top of this head, 275. We can go all the way to that 280.67 level, which would be, your breakout situation. So what you want to do is look at the left of the chart. There's really nothing left here. This is a 3-year deal left of the chart. So you break off that 280, well, your next mark target is going to be, you're going to be working yourself right towards that 300 mark. Okay, just that simple, because there is really no resistance in that area. Okay, so when we look at the RSI, well, we're only sitting here at 49. This has got plenty of room to run. The green here, we've got a sideways action, but we get that green to curl up, which it might do here because see how these little bars are working itself on up. So once we start getting that up to this 21-day, we have to see what the reaction is. Now, 21-day is going to be very, very strong. Just look at it in the past. Okay, pop, 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 couldn't get through. So again, the odds are you have to get above that key 21-day. Once you do it, then we can just start hitting all those targets and retest that 280.67. Now, again, on the downside, watch that. It's got to hold that 249, that 50-day, and we have to hold this key 8-day at 246. If not, we're going to retest this 228.58 here, and then we could work yourself all the way on down. Again, now, when we look at this here, we have a low here of 214.30. We have a low here of 215.05. So we take the lowest one, okay? So what we have is 214.30. There's your gap. And then we look all the way to the top of this candle at 202.54. There's your fill, okay? So we have your gap, your fill, but we have that 200-day simple moving average here. If this sells off. If not, we crack above that 21-day, and then we do the big retest. And then we watch what the reaction is when you get there, okay? So if you're trading this, if it cracks that 21-day, just watch for that. Does it close above that? Does it hit it and then come back down again? See, that's the whole thing about it. And once it cracks above it, then we're on our way up to that 300 mark. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here when the close, and we will take a look here at Bitcoin, at Ethereum, gold, silver, crude oil, and on natural gas. Now, you can see how the market is red today. So always, always, always look for opportunity today. My favorite trade is TQQQs. Got down to 52.82. I'm in at 53. Now you're sitting at 54.20. Just remember, turnaround Tuesday. If we have a down day today, the odds of having a turnaround Tuesday on the upside are looking pretty good. So always look for opportunity. Okay, like everybody's talking about NVIDIA. NVIDIA got all the way down to 173.69. I jumped in at 174. You're sitting at 179.29. NVIDIA is going nowhere but up over time. They are into everything. You got everybody knocking it. Everybody says, oh, this is this, and this is that. Again, okay, look for opportunity here. See if we can make some money. Don't hit the turnaround Tuesday. Okay, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.